Greetings. Back with a banger. Back with a banger. Greetings. Greetings. Give honor to Source, to the Creator, the Most High, make all things possible. Yes, another one. Yes, another one. Clap it up for yourselves. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me today. Bring that. Come on in the class. Everybody. Class of life, school of life. Give honor to Source, ancestors known and unknown that came before us all. Roll up my sleeves. You know it's finna get interesting when you roll up your sleeves. Let me jump right into this. I'm just gonna probably just throw some things out there so y'all know, like, I ain't playing. But for one, let's start with this. Get you some people around you that's gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna let that marinate. I'm finna get to talking that way. My lips be. I'm gonna need a lot of chapstick today. Gonna have it set and ready. Get you some people around you that are holding you accountable. Meaning, if you don't know what that is, we did not grow up in a society that holds us accountable. We did not grow up in a lot of environments and homes that held us accountable. Let's be honest here. I did not grow up in environments that held us accountable. And I don't mean that what somebody, people call tough love. I don't mean that just, discipline a child with whoopings and spankings. That's something I do not believe in. I do feel like that is a form of abuse against a child's free will. There are other healthy ways for a child to regulate their emotions instead of going through such things like that. That being said, a healthy accountability, things that I'm, unlearning and realizing the importance of a healthy dialogue, or authentic love with myself. That being said, get you some people that hold you accountable. Because that's going to come with a process of holding you accountable first. Like, are you holding you accountable? Are you disciplining yourself when you know you want to do something, but you need to do this? Then you realize that as you reflect that, then you begin to build foundations upon accountability, holding each other accountable, building something that's really rooted in truth and integrity. I know you hear me say that a lot because, again, it's been a process for me to get here and to realize how much I have to stand on integrity with myself and with others. That being said, one of the most vital things that I don't realize people as humanity are realizing, that the powers that used to be, or at a point in time, or not even a point in time, but I feel the greatest focus and the greatest attack on humanity right now, and for years, and for what a lot of people are suffering, whether it's from mental health, some type of physical dis-ease or discomfort. The two more, I don't even know if I ever created a video on this, but this has been ringing in my ear for a while. And I've been noticing this even in society and communities and people. And this is a very challenging thing because you have to, we have, as a whole or a collective, had literally so many years built foundations or communities, villages, whatever, environments, socially, emotionally, mentally, and physically, and on a pond, not valuing rest. Yes, rest. Some may call sleep. The importance of rest. Two things, and giving honor to the Bobby Hemmett, rest in power. I don't even know why I said rest in power, because I haven't heard much about Bobby Hemmett in us, like, physically. So I don't know why I said that. That's interesting. But anywho, just giving gratitude to Bobby Hemmett. I don't know why I said that. That's interesting. But anywho, if you don't know who he is, this is a legend or a teacher that came along, did a lot of things before we even had what we call social media. So I give credit where it's due. This doesn't mean I have to agree to everything that other people have said or whatever. I just listen from a lot of things that he has shared, and it's amazing. For those who are aware that's of the spiritual community, and more so know about, things metaphysically speaking. So that being said, I recall, what do you call it, a teaching, or I don't know, what do you call those things, where he was speaking. Basically, he was speaking, and he actually brought up the same thing that I'm going to speak about in reference of rest and hydration. And I don't realize, like, y'all know the importance and how vital this is. When I look at society, and I just recently connected with someone that was like younger and like 20s, and then I even know people who are colleagues or collegiate players or athletes. And when I look at the structures that are in place, there is nothing that literally prioritize rest. And I'm gonna stay on rest for right now because I want y'all to like really really take a step back and really look at this. When you're asked to come into this human vessel, or when you're coming to this world, and there's this immediately like emphasis on or attack on us, like, as a child young, to literally be put in spaces where rest isn't a priority. When you look at, if you want to call it, some people might say, oh, there's time is an illusion. Okay. But just the hours in a day. And when you literally see from a child, like, soon as we arrived here, especially for my mother, as soon as we arrived here, a lot of our mothers have never, most of their life, probably had a good 7, 8 hours, probably even 10 hours or more of not being bothered, harassed, attacked, or feeling like they're being attacked, whether it be through media. And that weighs heavy psychologically if you're not in tune with yourself, or if you're not aware. So let's say a lot of mothers in certain demographics, that maybe have experienced, a very emotional turmoil, or a lot of things, um, a very, I don't know the words. I'm like just trying to say chaotic birth. And when you look at systems, because I always break this shit down in levels. Okay, let's say coming from a child, and let's begin with the medical system with mothers. Just the fear propaganda, that literally the illusion that they give off as if they care for their well-being, and the distress and the dis-ease and the discomfort a lot of those mothers walk away with, that they never mentally find a state of peace. They never, even in a lot of those spaces, truly get a place or experience rest, like immediately after they're just gave, a lot of them experience traumatic experiences, or have, like, it's crazy that they're still haven't rest or made peace with in their body, in their mind, in their, in their essence. Not to mention how that child came into this world. Did she get much rest before that child came into this world? And I don't really think a lot of us realize, like, for me in my life right now, I was telling someone this is the most rest. It's like I'm being restored when I do my best to align with what the divine has called me to do. Like, talk about it, expose it, share it, whatever. And when I say, from what I've seen my mother, grandmother, especially when it comes to, when I say rest, I mean not just sleeping, some may call it, like laying. I'm talking about those of you that suffer from insomnia, those of you that work hours where it doesn't even align with your spirit. These hours of these man hours or whatever, this hard labor that a lot of our mothers had to experience for so many years, their grandmothers, from being displaced or this disposition of having to carry the load and, the labor that normally men would do, and automatically put them in a position where they're neglecting the feminine principles of themselves that allows them to rest, which is connected to the rest. When you rest, you get some, in the spiritual community, uploads, downloads. You have your connection to, some of you may have visions or dreams, or some of you just simply, you allow your spirit, your soul, your body to rest, to recover, to restore, to heal. And when I look at humanity, when I look at, especially, I always speak to the matriarchal first. Some of you and your mothers have not rested since they've arrived here. I want you to sit with that. Some of you are deeply programmed in your independence, that you're so disconnected from your interdependence, your intuition, your feminine principles that pretty much give birth to, how you assert yourself masculine. That's from women and men, but I'm speaking to the women right now because that's, I know that's going to be my important audience. And for a lot of you, your mothers never got rest after what they probably experienced in the hospital. And I will say there is divine retribution and judgment coming to these said places and also to those involved. And there's countless stories that I know, and I've said this in previous video, about how some mothers have went through things where they had a forced C-section, or they were pretty much, fear was, forced upon them in ways where they psychologically, depending on who was around, or if they had even some type of healthy support system or authentic support system. This goes back to previous where I was talking about trauma bonds. And so the body keeping the score, your mind, your body in itself from being cut from that C-section. And some of you not being able to rest, as best as you could. And also, not being able to heal correctly. And so that can affect someone's rest, so someone's well-being emotionally. So I'm talking about on all levels. A lot of our mothers, some of you as mothers and women, are this lifetime, are literally here to get to a place, inner peace and mental peace and harmony and truth is also a place of realizing you can rest in your femininity. That's a place of being secure within yourself. And a lot of you as women and mothers, the reason I say this is because y'all are suffering from, a lot of you are suffering from, if you want to use the term, insomnia, or even the fact of like you have an overpowered mind or anxiety, some type of mental discomfort or dis-ease or illness to where you don't even know where it stems from. You don't know the answers to why, what you probably inherited from your mother, because in your womb, while you were in your mother's womb, you don't know what really happened. You don't know what your mother went through in the womb of your grandmother. And if we look at the history, we're talking about generations of trauma. When we look at this land, we acting like we have experienced generations of rest. And a lot of you are here to reposition yourself, to be restored, to be replaced, repositioned as in a sense of to be able to rest. A lot of you don't realize like a lot of your ancestors did not rest. Some people go as deep as in the spirit realm or, the ancestors. Some people are still like those that are into mediumship and whatever. Like there are people's spirits that did not rest. You're talking about a lot of things to where generationally or ancestrally speaking, where a lot of them, the way they went out of this world in such a traumatic way, in such a painful way, and so forth. I don't think a lot of us realize how much we are here to be restored, to restore the peace, to be restored. How are you going to get peace if you don't rest? If you don't fucking rest? And we don't even see the psychological warfare, how the powers that used to be literally has convinced people where they replace the importance of what water is and literally gave us the alcoholism or giving us certain things. I'm not saying that people, hey, that's your vices, but that's what I had to recognize even in my lineage, even myself as a man, where I had to learn to take more of a holistic approach because if I looked at my lineage and I saw the alcoholism and I saw, the liver damage or cirrhosis of the liver, they call it, or the diabetes or, certain things where I still, because I was introduced to candy so young, now being aware of the addiction in itself, that's worse than some drugs, if you want to call them drugs or whatever you want, literally. Still having over the years to learn to like realize like, whoa, this is something where like it was that addictive at times where every time I went to the store when I was younger, I had to get something. Some of us went to the store and our mom was like, you know what? If you don't get right, you won't get no candy. And it's almost like we couldn't even rest at night. Some of us, I know me, sometimes I couldn't even feel like I can get through my day. Some of you that coffee drinkers and, things like that and candies and stuff where again, these are vices. And I'm just saying like too much of anything, the saying goes like overindulging. Now there's a balance between things. I'm not like everyone has their vices or whatever. But the reason I speak so more on rest, because a lot of you are fucking dehydrated right now. Rest and dehydrated. One of the most vital things our ancestors always spoke about, or why they live near water, because the significance of water. When you know that your body is made up of more, water, and how important it was to cleanse yourself with water. Even if you want to cleanse yourself like by drinking it, like flushing your body out, certain things like that. The importance of like the beach water, the salt water, cleansing yourself spiritually. Water in itself is a powerful element. We're born from water. We're made up of more water. Water is a primordial source. It's almost like, it's that in a sense represents like the divine mother in a way, because when you look at the water aspect, the energy of water, it's mostly everything. And so we've gotten so away from that. And, even the scarcity around water, like, people, I know a lot of people that are darker, like the fear of not like swimming. And I don't even know if that's like some Stockholm syndrome, if that's the word or the thing, but the fear around like water in itself, water like swimming. And it's like, this is, I feel like it's so deep. It's like we've been given this story because I don't know how much is true, because where you do have some people who ancestors, while coming and traveling in certain places, that did not want to accept the journey ahead, that may be, I don't know everyone's story, that may have jumped ship and chose to, unalive themselves before they were going into, to be in captivity, or some may say slaves. But the thing is, there's been this disconnect that we are realizing that we're reconnecting to, because there are a lot of ancestral things that are vital that are connected to water. You know, I used to tell myself, I'm like, why are people scared of water? What is the fear around that? Especially women that I know that are darker. They go to the beach, never get in the water. Go to the pool party, never get in the water. Never learn how to swim, nothing. And I'm like, do y'all not realize that in your mother's womb, you are in water? You are in water. Your body is made up of water. What makes you think you don't need it? So that says a lot about the exposure, even where like stories related to ancestrally, like, why I don't celebrate certain holidays ancestrally, like when it comes to the Thanksgiving, when you learn the real true history, not his story, but ours. For some people who know the depths of that, where certain drinks or certain things were introduced to get people to get people in this sluggish manner to be unalived. It is similarly to where you see a lot of things happen in environments where it's no difference. Like people get too overindulged, where some may say the spirits take over, or they typically become something that they're not, unconscious of. They become consumed in a way. So that being said, it's like you see similar things. Why you see a lot of these, when I grew up, shit, that was and it's almost like the trauma bonding to a lot of things. We don't even realize that we're unlearning this trauma bonds that we have created so many years through the lineage for so long. Um, Even in itself with the liquor stores. I mean, yeah, liquor stores being in just certain demographics. What else? And it's wild, because whether I have people that's across seas or wherever you are, let me tell you something. There is a thing like when you travel across to certain places where there are things literally put in place for people's demise, and I'm like, if you believe that this wasn't designed, the corruption in that, just for you to realize, like, for certain people to prosper, or certain things to literally to be attacked, like people to keep them in a stagnancy. Yo, I'm telling you, it's a thing. I remember going to liquor houses when I was young. I was like a liquor house. Where people sold liquor. It was wow. And once I started to realize, like, there was no healthy outlets. Like real young, there was no healthy outlets. And you can still see it evolve too, even when it comes to you know,
Would you like a Willy Wonka chocolate bar from the chocolate factory?
oh no, I'm good. I appreciate
You're
it.
good?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm making the video.
Okay.
No, I appreciate it. No, no, it's all good. um, yeah. I ain't too fond on just accepting stuff from people. Well, like a piece of chocolate from the Willy Wonka. What? No. No. I think that's a lot of our issues now, accepting things from people where y'all don't even know energetically, or just who people are. Listen to your intuition too, and be discerning, because that's one thing. Like, I look and I can already see him walking in. I'm like, is he gonna lock, like literally come in the door? Like, yeah. Anywho, no, respectfully. Anywho, back to this. So, um, yeah, like I remember going to liquor houses young. It was wild how so many things were just so accessible, but there was no solution. There was no solution to a lot of our, issues. And this is why I always like bring these things to y'all, so you can, like really think and ponder, why hasn't there ever been a solution? And then why do you keep looking for solutions from the same people or peoples, whether it's family or anywhere, like whatever level? Why do you keep looking for solutions And the solution isn't always money. Isn't always financial things. I gotta let y'all know because this going back to the rest thing. Those things being put in place literally, where I literally saw people, I saw things where people will get drunk and literally because now I recognize like the unresolved traumas, the unresolved emotions, and they will literally attack each other through that. That's all it was. If you look at a lot of this stuff right now, your drunk uncle, your drunk auntie, that neighborhood drunk or addict or whatever it is, I'm able to look at the fact of like, for one, whatever they're battling with, whatever they're going through, who has really sat down and held a safe place for them to really express themselves of what's going on? No, this is a country that has literally, and when our mothers don't have compassion for themselves, the world doesn't have compassion. When our mothers don't get the rest that they need, that's what I stand for. Because I know this shit gonna have to happen matriarchally before it can even come into like a healthy patriarchal. Because it mirrors both, it mirrors right back. And this is why I come and say this. Y'all as mothers have the power to shift this shit. Women, you want to see a change in anything? Y'all have the power. Y'all also have to listen, be discerning and listen to your intuition where you have to also be aware like who is really your healthy support system? Who do you need to remove yourself from? Who do you need to stop talking to? I know some of y'all are in certain demographics where it's like it's very difficult, but it's okay to not like interact. Because a lot of y'all don't realize in those demographics, all that shit ain't nothing but trauma bonding. When I look at this country, it literally trauma bonds off the careers. People are literally in certain careers where they're trauma bonding, where they have, where you're in spaces where your anxiety is so high, you have no sense of awareness of yourself because you don't even know, like, if you're coming or going, resting, where you're in a position where you literally have systems in place that never has set up anything again for you to even see the importance of well-being, like your well-being, prioritizing your well-being. I mean, when I be telling y'all emotionally, mentally, spiritually, that literally means like, does this career care anything about you getting rest? Fucking no. It's always chase the bag, get this and get that. Get this, get that. And I see this so much through our mothers and then the younger women. I see it so much. You got all the way up there to get this is not an attack on people who have obtained degrees or whatever. Okay, congratulations. I'm not gonna downplay that. But through that process, was your well-being a priority? Did that university, did those people care about your well-being? Because a lot of you now are in spaces now you realizing like, them motherfuckers don't care about that. When you looking at this society right now, they don't care if you get enough sleep. Like I said, I just met someone and I was like, how do you go in at 10 and literally get off at 5? What? How do you, what? I know people back home who have been living where I grew up at, like literally at these chicken plants or certain places where they got to put food on the table. I'm not judging that at all. But man, the labor. I've done construction. Don't let this beautiful exterior fool you. I've done construction. I've done tree work. What else? Shit, I don't even need to go down. And then the chicken plant, like I don't even need to go down any further. You're talking about hard labor. I'm talking about construction. Those of you that know, like construction, getting up early, going to do certain stuff, and you out in the sun all the time, and just sun beating down on you. Then you over here trying to no tree work, same thing. Those of you don't know, look it up. And I was one of the ones on the ground. I wasn't one climbing a tree. I'm talking about cutting down big trees, having to pick them up, throw them in the back of the what you call it, dump truck or whatever, loading truck, whatever. Like, yeah, like these hands wasn't always drawing. No, these hands are the same. No, and then again, that comes from now you're seeing a lot of. I'm literally not. It ain't just to focus on the youth to now. It's also the youth until also noticing and having awareness on even the elders who was trying to convince us about hard work. Yo, a lot of them, because of the system, because of how corrupt it is, because I'm gonna tell you what's happening. But the way it came in is the way it's going out. That's how it is. And that's why you see most of the ones who, these elders who were so putting so much emphasis on hard work, hard work, hard work, are the ones who literally are working themselves literally to death, literally to a physical, like death. You got people now 60, almost 70 I've seen out in the what they call the like work because of how what people don't realize, like this is universal law. It's like this is how it was built. So it's almost like the ones who like came in and like literally got consumed by this illusion of the American dream are literally certain. You got grandparents out here right now that are not able because of this social security thing. Y'all don't realize a lot of these things that were put in place was to never give you a sense of mental peace, inner peace. Was never meant to give you a solution so that you can rest. You got people. I tell people this all the time. What the fuck is retiring? Look at the word tired. You're literally leaving a place to get retired. When you resell something, when you reestablish, when you reconstruct something, when you what is that? Reinvent whatever it is. Come on, y'all. This shit is common sense. Retired. I be like, you just got even more. You you retiring yourself. You just what? Etymology words have power. What? And so I know this is geared towards my youth. Like, the reason I say this is because they're looking to me. And I'm not saying focus perfectly on everything that I'm doing. No, it's just to whom is given much is required. I'm giving this voice. I'm giving this awareness. I'm giving this knowledge because I've applied it to gain this wisdom, to see the results of the fruits of my labor, to let the youth know, like, listen, no, you do not have to believe or have to, because it's difficult for a lot of y'all, especially teenagers, early 20s, that a lot of y'all are literally sitting back watching your grandparents work themselves to nothing, to nothing. And they ain't gonna tell you because their belief system and what they grew up in, they scared too. Their system as they knew it is literally crumbling. And a lot of us in the generation like early 30s, almost to late 30s, are literally coming to a self-realization. I've said this before of like, yo, that ain't for me. I know you may not like it, but I'd rather go through this where I can realize that my well-being is more important than going to a 12-hour shift. Even an 8-hour shift. At least let me balance between the potential of something part-time to where I can, balance out my entrepreneurship because the world is shifting collectively and individually. There was a time where years ago, a while back, where a lot of people, things are evolving, but it's just in a different way where grandparents, a lot of them don't even tell y'all how a lot of people were more entrepreneurs around a certain time. I forgot the video, and I want to say that there was a lot of people that were entrepreneurs. They don't tell you about that. These things are returning so that people can live amongst harmony and peace. A lot of humans, a lot of people, a lot of y'all don't even know inner peace and mental peace. So that's why you go out there into these careers, because it was never a priority in your home. It was never a priority in society. It was never a priority in your communities. It ain't like these kids are getting told like, yeah, bro, rest, bro, get you some rest. Love on yourself, bro. Hey, bro, it's okay to cry, bro. Because society keep telling what young men that and men To do what? To do what? And it's this deep. When you have our women who not only haven't rest mentally from what they've dealt with in the medical system, and not and then let's speak from the darker women, because from my experience, when you have a country that don't allow you to rest because of so much how you have devalued them in so many ways, you have done everything to try to destroy them mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and somehow, some way, they're still standing. And I send my love to all of you that know that your grandmother and great grandmother had to do what they had to do, even in their distress, even in their discomfort. Because I had a mother, even though she might have she tried to cope with it with drugs. Hey, a lot of people don't realize that's what some people do. Their escapism. I don't judge them. I did it because they're trying to find a sense of being and acceptance. I see you. I hear you. To all you mothers out there, and like I said, I'm speaking to the women of certain demographics. I'm going to speak to all y'all, but I'm saying I see you. To my mothers, whether you want to subscribe to Black, whether you want to subscribe to African American, whether you want to subscribe to melanated, whatever, I see you. I hear you. I hear your silent cries. Where there are systems in place that do not support your mental well-being, physical well-being, or spiritual well-being. Emotionally, where there hasn't been support for you. I hear you. I hear those silent cries. When you have anxiety at night, when you don't know how a bill gonna get paid. Because you don't went to social services, or certain places where they only give you 1 or 2 tries or attempts to do this. Those are the ones I'm talking to. Now, the ones that I will hold accountable who have abused it, who haven't tried to find a way out. Like, come on, you can't outrun karma. That's why a lot of people are panicking when it comes to that. But again, a lot of y'all had an opportunity to be supportive to each other. But I get it, you too, that took advantage of those Section 8s and stuff like that. Y'all still don't realize that no matter what you did, no matter how much assistance governmentally that you received, it still wasn't enough, sis. It still will never be enough. Look at it collapsing. Because it's something within you. It's in you, not on you. Because a lot of you don't even realize that a lot of your ancestors never wanted to be a part of that. A lot of them had to lie and literally because they literally had to develop a trauma bond with these systems just because so their kids can make it through a school, make it through life. So I get it. I see you too. I'm not judging you, but it's accountability over here. Because a lot of you, I get it. Y'all don't even realize the trauma bonding when you have a system that literally forces the men not to be in the home. And if they find out there's a man there, then they take your Section 8 voucher. When you fear being out on the street because you know that you have grown up in a dysfunctional family, they don't want to support you at all. Because of mama or grandma, they never rested. So the last thing they want you is you and your kids. With a system in place waiting for you to fail or waiting for you to fall so CPS can come in and snatch them up and give them to somebody who don't give a shit about them. Let's be honest here. These are the thoughts of the darker women and mothers throughout this nation, throughout this world, that have never been valued, that have never been appreciated consistently. That have never, from women that are lighter too. Not all, but most of y'all who pretend not to see them. But then when something tragic happens to you, you're asking of them to see you. Not to be racist or have structural racism within you. When you have an opportunity for a lot of you women that are lighter skinned, whether you are in something financially where you can actually put a woman in position so that she can get rest, so she can show up for herself, so she can show up for her kids. But no, a lot of you sit back and pretend. I told y'all before, this rest thing is big. A lot of you won't get rest because of what your ancestors did. A lot of y'all won't get rest. It's because y'all don't acknowledge the fact of what's really going on within you inside, internally, emotionally, mentally. Y'all sit back, like I said before in one of my videos, y'all sit back and act like y'all have healthy relationships with darker women. And the same thing goes for darker women. Y'all act like y'all got healthy relationships with people that don't look like y'all. Y'all have more of a healthy relationship with the governmental structures than human beings. Y'all have more of a healthy relationship with your boss because he can do this and give you a check and all like that because he's an authoritative figure. You have more of a healthy relationship with him than your own fucking kids, than your own self. A lot of you women have a healthier relationship, the underlining which really is trauma bonding with men rather than your own son, rather than your own spouse. Because you don't even realize it's trauma bonding. A lot of you allow people in certain positions in this world. You have a more of a trauma bond. You allow your emotions to create distress and discomfort for somebody that don't even live in your fucking house. Y'all don't know who y'all are. This is why I'm here to remind you. Y'all have the power to shake this shit. Reshape it and shake it up. You think I came here to be liked and accepted? When I keep telling y'all as women, y'all hold a power that most men don't see. Y'all give us the nutrients, the nurturing, the blueprint. And it's not until y'all get y'all shit together. Some of us are aware. Why you think we hold you accountable? Nothing's going to change until y'all realize, like, how are you going to get rest? Y'all ain't even resting. I don't care what culture and creed or what color, shade you are. You can pretend, but I see that housing market. I see those foreclosures. I see that transfer in spiritual and physical wealth. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I see it. Because a lot of y'all are sitting back and y'all allowed y'all privilege to think that, oh, you can get rest at night. This will never happen. Ray Ray and Shay Shay and Shanika will never move in my neighborhood. I won't ever have to deal with them. We live in a gated community. We go to a private school. We have everything. And this is not all, but you know who I'm talking to. Yeah, this is where we are. Yeah. This will never happen to us. Y'all don't even know the system that y'all uphold, that you enable. You literally enable. Did I have this written down? Y'all don't even realize what y'all enabling. You're enabling more distress. Y'all enabling more distress. And it's funny things about it's like y'all don't even realize how so much of all you as women support an abusive society, an abusive structure. Y'all supported it. You enabled it. You enable school systems or corporations and business that literally abuse not only you emotionally, mentally, some of you physically, because I see my mama told me a story about how one time she got into something and where she got locked up and they literally, maced her for no reason. I know of stories of men who got beat on once the police got them down to the jail. Yeah. It's funny how it talks about, and I'm going to correlate this with rest. The music may control the victims. Whoa, this is deep. This is real deep. Somehow I be getting clarity on stuff. Isolated. Let's talk about, abusive corporations and so forth. Now I'm gonna re-isolate it. It says the abuser may control the victim's access to others. When you look at this system in society, what does that sound like? The abuser may control the victims. Because let me tell you something. It's not about being in a victim mentality, but it's amazing to me how y'all don't see who has been a victim in this country for so many years. It's not to say other people who haven't, but y'all know what I'm speaking about, like the focus. It's naturally almost like, as a man, we already have to experience people that look like me, and so forth, who are still dealing with things internally. But for people who are of lighter shade to pretend like y'all are not enabling a part of the abusive system, literally, that preys on your childhood wounds, no matter what status you have. You literally isolate yourself. And when it says the abuser may control the victim's access to others, y'all don't even realize, like, and it says making them feel dependent on the abuser. Wow, how could I break this down? This is going to be amazing. When you look at the system and structures in place, let's say from a darker person, because I like to give this on all levels. When I see who has progressed in certain areas, when you look at certain systems, like you don't see a lot of judges that look like me. You don't see a lot of police that look like me, a lot of them. You don't see a lot of political or even structures, corporations that really are in positions where I would have the upper hand, or I would get, have more of a good support system or good representation. So a lot of you that don't even realize this, no matter where you are, because this can go for both people that are lighter and darker, but y'all don't even realize how much you have isolated yourself, enabled the abusiveness, like literally, when some of you that watch television, and you will literally, due to your, not having compassion, you will literally, some of y'all don't even see the victimization, not victimization, or see someone as a victim because of your deep programming on how people are darker are presented and represented in this country. Not to mention, you isolate yourself, because when I look at these communities in certain places, you literally isolated yourself. And it literally says the abuser may control the victim's access to others. And it's wild when you look at certain systems in place, you can see who the abusers are that allow or that try to control the access to even things. When it's just like, if I'm driving through a neighborhood gated community, and I'm talking about me, even if I'm not, I don't have intentions on breaking into nothing or doing anything. But when you see a gated community, and you see communities that are predominantly lighter skinned people, it's like there is this emphasis to protect almost what you've obtained. But it's so wild that how y'all ignore, a lot of people ignore how you even came into a lot of things systematically and ancestrally, like how some of your ancestors literally came into things and you never vocalize it or you never communicate it. And you proudly support systems that abuse people that are darker, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And it's given to the world like this represents all darker people. And so for me, it's like, it's interesting how we ignore this, how we ignore it, how there's so much emphasis on protecting people that just look like yourself. Literally systems in place that I already know of that literally work hand in hand to keep people, like, give them a slap on the hand. And these are the people who are isolating themselves and literally don't realize that someone that's darker in the demographic is literally, when they go into the corporate areas or go into certain things, It says making them feel dependent on their abuser. When you in an abusive society, in an environment, from a psychological perspective of a man that's darker, you're literally looking to that person that is lighter, that's in this position, that they don't know the depths of like abusive system and structures, that literally these kids look to these people as a savior complex or as a way out, or keeping them dependent on the abuser. That's how deep this goes. When you have people that don't care about your well-being emotionally, and so forth, and then you, from my lens, literally see this like the neglect, the abandonment in the school systems that I experienced personally, where you have had people who literally their school systems are structurally built on internal racism. Where you have towns that are literally created on like being sundown towns. And it's wild because there's no fixing what certain things that cannot be fixed. There are certain things within people, a lot of you, that I realized I came to this acceptance where you're allowed to rest, but we're not. And this is not everyone, but I'm just saying, like, when you look at how this country has been run, or just the people and leadership, and that's all demographics too, because you got people that's darker rub shoulders with these same people. But just because they're in the same tax bracket or whatever it is, and in the communities, the pastors and all these other stuff, they could care less if those little boys and little girls get rest and their mothers, because it ain't taking money out of their pocket. So now all this exposure and corruption, I keep telling y'all that you're enabling things unconsciously until that shit start knocking at your front door. Let me see. Um, so getting back to, the rest thing, it's wild because I cannot hold these things back. It is what it is, but um I'm not at all saying that all people of a lighter shade are the same, because there are people that are darker that don't care for themselves. It's what I'm saying is it's really an internal thing. Um, when you look at when I say how important rest and hydration are like the vital thing that they attack the most, when you are in demographics that, like when you grow up in demographics where there's a lot of things literally given to you young, like the sodas, the candies, a lot of things that keeps you from really, uh, the focus on your well-being mentally, emotionally, and so forth, and how you perform in environments or out in the world. A lot of these certain foods, a lot of these things that people don't realize like how deep it is. And the reason I emphasize rest is because I probably make a part two to this. The reason I emphasize rest is because there is a thing that's huge in this country and all around the world where a lot of people don't know that just simply being darker, we are not allowed, or it's not everyone, because I know people that are, uh, live in certain areas, and let's just say they live, they're well off in a way, but live, a good life, whatever. But speaking from, let's say, the country like the US that has portrayed, or the representation of even said people or characters who don't really speak, or who are in places where they don't really see, like, literally have them try to speak for all. Like, I'm not gonna call no names, but when I look at the depths of it, there's nobody what I've seen and acknowledge when it comes to, they know because they are a part of the structural racism, these darker people, these leaders or whatever, or who people think that that's going to be your savior. No, listen, they're not going to do it, and because I knowingly know what they're a part of, just like other people know what they're a part of. And when it comes to their positions, when it comes to whatever accolades, a lot of things, they're not going to give that shit up for you. They're not going to say nothing, but they will fall from grace because it's just things are changing. The collective consciousness is changing. And this is why I speak on things that, you know, they get the rest. But at the same moment, the divine retribution that's happened upon us right now, nah, these people have had opportunities to put these mothers and kids in better positions. But they knew what they signed a contract for, let's just say. They knew what they signed up for. So now that the tables are turning, the reason why I emphasize so much for this rest thing is because some people won't rest until they make it right with themselves and people that they know that they have intentionally kept from giving or supplying things that will literally give a solution to create more harmony and balance to people. You know, I don't, and this, I guess this is coming up for a reason. Why would I support certain rappers or certain things or people, don't matter if they rappers or not, that truthfully don't care about the well-being of these kids when I know that they sit here and talk about things that literally is contradicting their message. So I don't care how much they dress it up or record themselves or say they doing this in the hood. No, it ain't integrity. I don't care about ruffling feathers because a lot of people ain't who they say they are. And y'all gonna see this. Like I said, I speak on things that have never been spoken about before, or really give you an in-depth thing to where it brings more awareness to realizing, like, yo, these structures that y'all have enabled and put so much energy towards, nothing's gonna change until you individually and all you come together. And more so, it's not until a lot of you do the work, the inner work. I don't even like that word work, but to even do that, to even know that you deserve it and that you're worthy of that. And a lot of you are, there are great things that are coming. Because I'm telling you, I've been in these places and I've seen a lot of things when it comes to these communities and these things that people have built. And a lot of those elders, a lot of the energy that they represent, it ain't looking too shabby for them because that energy literally has to, that it literally exposes itself. I realize how much been in environments where I have to see that, wow, all of this that they built is literally crumbling right before them. And it's going to be very tough for a lot of people to accept this. It's going to be very challenging. It's going to be very challenging. That's why I say the importance of finding mental peace or inner peace where it doesn't it's not so much just finding it within yourself, and then seeing the importance of rest and the hydration. I know I got to make a part two because I didn't realize like the time it was, but it don't matter because it's about to close where I'm at. But yeah, it's there's a lot of things shifting, boy. Especially with this country, man. Let me tell you, where people thought they were up, that was a biggest illusion. Where there were things where people actually assumed that they had an advantage. Y'all, let me tell you something. That's been the biggest trick and illusion. When people actually thought that they were progressing ahead of people. And that's on all levels. Y'all have no idea like how certain people are in place to literally expose everything just so y'all can realize like it's great things coming to those who have stood in integrity. And I cannot speak for everybody because you know who you are. But to my mothers that do get this message and young women and then the youth, prioritize your health. These systems, these corporations, these universities, all this stuff, it is literally created. Their blueprint is from the same energy. It is not about prioritizing your well being emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. It is not. So I will do a part two. Peace and blessings. Shalom.